Hey, welcome to the Own It magazine. My name is Marisa Bludorn. I am your host. I am the editor in chief of Own It magazine and publishing. And today we have a special session with some amazing women. Some of them are returning, some of them, this is their first interview. Really excited to have them. We are celebrating. March is gone, but we're still going on celebrating women, women celebrating women. Taking center stage and owning it with me today is Sabine. She is my girl over on the Punta Cana side, Dominican Republic. My beautiful sister Terry. I love you. I love you. I love you. Mary's a new sister in the house with us, Mary Lee. We have Tiffany from California, but you know what we've done? We've converted her. She's coming over here to the DR. And we have our beautiful sister, Dr. France Ash. She is in the DMV area. We love you. We love you. We love you. We are taking center stage. We are owning it. Women celebrating women. March is gone, but we're going on all year long. And so, ladies, thank you so much. It's Friday night. Y'all supposed to be out on a date. You're supposed to be out doing something. What's going on here? But you're sitting here with me, and I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you. I'm going to start with someone that's super special. I'm just getting to know her, and I just want to talk about it. Mary, we're talking about women celebrating women. What is the biggest thing that Dr. Ash was sharing with us in the back, all that she does. And when we think about that, isn't that many women are handling so much, juggling all of this. You talked about backstage, about your big event that you had over the weekend. And you talked about all of the programs. All of that's detailed work. We love what we do, but at the end of the day, it's still work. What makes you keep going?
Actually, what keeps me going is because I just love working out in the community. I love people. I connect very well with people. So I know that God put me at that location for a reason because I have so many ways of connecting with so many people, diversity all day long. People in and out of my building from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I know for a fact that I am in the right place. I get to network very well with people. I get to get out in the community and get to meet people and draw people into the community and into my location. And even the people that come, different agencies and stuff that come to utilize my building, I'm able to connect with them. And in return, I'm able to do something for them just like they do for me. So it's like me helping them and they're helping me. And so when I bring in my programs and different stuff, I always remember the ones that I help and they help me. And I try to reach back out to them to see if we can connect, do some programs together, do workshops together, job fairs together. Um,
Mhm.
just like I did here recently, the boots on the ground, it blew up. It was amazing. I had people coming from Colombia. I had people coming from Manning. I had people coming from Florence. I had a busload coming from Florence. So just to be able to work out in the community does my heart all the good because I love working with people. I just love people. I connect very well with people because of my personality and attitude. My supervisors tell me all the time, you are a go getter. You're in the right place. And I said, I know that God has me in the right place, but I also want to be able to elevate and get promoted one day as well. I don't
Right.
want to just stay where I'm at. I've been there for 22 years, and God is telling me it's time for me to elevate and do something else. So
Yeah.
God knows what I want, and I'm just waiting patiently for it. But right now, I'm in the right place. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. You talk about relationships, building relationships, and fostering good, lasting relationships because it's in those relationships that we can provide the things that we are looking to provide as far as support for our communities, the individuals that we serve, and different things like that. It's amazing how we need to. We're not taught very early on the importance of cultivating relationships and keeping relationships for extended periods of time. Often among women, and I'm going to pivot this over to Terry. Often among women, when we talk about relationships and lasting relationships, we do ourselves a disservice in the sense that we break relationships. If we have a bad falling out or a disagreement, instead of allowing for time to cultivate and develop and strengthen that relationship, sometimes we're quick to sever the relationships. Talk about that from the work that you do, Terry, in regards to personalities, relationships, and how important it is to have empathy, compassion, because at the end of the day, we want to walk with authority, right? We want to be true to our authenticity, but we want to be strategic and intentional when it comes to our influence, right? We want to make sure that we are conscious of the things that we're doing and saying so that we can cultivate healthy, good, long lasting relationships. Because, man, if I would have known as a kid the importance of building relationships and holding on to those relationships,
Right.
what happens later on in life, you can go back and say, hey, I could use your support, or can I be here to show you support? So talk about why that's important when we're talking about getting to the real deal, not just on the surface of women celebrating women, but how do we get to
Mhm.
that real place of coming up under and really building those healthy relationships?
Well, I think that's really a good question, Marissa. And the thing about it is, and what I found with a lot of people, even on social media, you'll see somebody put up something and say, I'm in a relationship. And, we have all these new relationships and things like that. But I think a lot of times people think of a relationship as the relationship between them and their partner or their spouse or whatever the case may be. But we forget that relationships is about everyone, whether it's with our children, whether it's with our friends, our colleagues, our teammates, our supervisors, the people that work under us, our neighbors, our community. These are all relationships. And I think we don't ever seem to look at that in that way. But a relationship is a 50-50 thing. And sometimes it's 60-40, and sometimes we have to help pick that other person up, or 70-30, or whatever the case may be. But in a relationship, that is something that is strictly between you and that other person, whoever that person may be. It doesn't need to necessarily be an intimate relationship. It could be any type of relationship. But what are you giving to that relationship, and what are you receiving from that relationship? I mean, it's a two-way street no matter how you look at it. But I think a lot of times now, even with social media, a lot of us have gotten a little bit more closed off, and we're not getting out there and networking like we should, getting to know other people, having that willingness to learn from other people, because everyone, no matter who it is, and I wrote about it in my book, everyone has unique skills and abilities, and there's something that we can learn from everyone. There's something we can teach potentially to everyone. There is something we can share potentially to everyone. So relationships is what it's all about, bringing people together, unifying, rather than creating a lot of this divisiveness that seems to be going on in the world today. And we're splitting, just over
Yes.
an opinion. And these things have got to stop. And it takes communication and the art of active listening, being willing to listen to someone, whether we believe what they're saying, but we allow them to share whatever their opinion of it is. And we can always say, well, I'll take that into consideration, or I never looked at it that way, and I'll take some time to think about that and get back with you, rather than making these snap judgments and snap decisions and just, it's
Snapping.
over, it's over, kind of mentality.
Yeah, and that's what we sometimes we're operating in extremes, right?
Yeah.
If you don't agree with me, then I'm not going to be dealing with you anymore. And I
Exactly.
think we do ourselves an injustice. And
Mhm.
when I talk to, and I just want to do a shout out. Hi, Elaine. She's listening in. What amazing panel of highly talented and gifted women. Thank you so much, Elaine, for chiming in with us today. I just feel like that. I feel that we, as women, I think we lose the joy
Yeah.
that comes from friendships.
Yeah.
And friendships don't could be professional friendships. They can be personal friendships, business friendships, but we lose that, and we don't get to cherish one another. And I believe that because we are wired and designed to be nurturers, that we forfeit our own design. We are acting out of character. We're going against the grain when we're not loving each other and nourishing one another. I don't even like sarcasm, to be honest with you, because sometimes I believe there's an undercutting, because God says I look at the thoughts and intents of the heart. And so when someone talks to me, I'm looking at that heart and I'm saying, well, I'm not looking necessarily just at the words. I'm looking at what's the force, energy, and intent behind the words. I'm looking for something deeper than what you can see on the surface. And I believe that it breaks his heart when we're not cherishing one another and treasuring one another. I think that Dr. Ash, you shared about your husband. And, one day we're here and one day we're gone. I just don't want to be one of those people that says, I wish I should have, could have, would have been kinder, nicer, more understanding. I don't want to be one of those people. And that's what this is all about. That's why it's like it can't stop at March. It can't stop at just 20 women. As many as we can, let them know that they are loved, that they're not alone. Can we decrease depression? Maybe so. Maybe so. We showed each other a little love. I love what the Bible says. It says, "Be slow to speak and quick to listen." Be understanding it and listen to someone else and hear them out, even when it's the most difficult. It's easy to love people who love us. It's difficult to love someone who's difficult. So that's why these conversations are so important, to really get to the place of authority and owning. That's what own it is all about. Own the good, the bad, the ugly, and indifferent about who you are. The minute that you own it and don't dismiss it or deflect it or run away from it is the very minute that you begin to heal, that you can resolve it, that you can build a better character, that you can show up better in life. And you can also feel like you can have joy and live a fulfilling life, because you're no longer walking in a falsehood, you're walking in truth. And then giving other people the permission to walk in their authority, their authenticity, right? So if we're constantly saying, "Well, I don't agree with that," well, you're pushing your agenda on your sister, and I don't think that that's right. I may not agree, but I want you to have the space that you have to be true to you. And so I want to go into my girl over here, because God is calling her out of her safe space to be talk about that. Talk about giving each other your differences. Like you and I, we love each other, but we have differences. Like our terminology, we may have the same ideology, but the way that we word it or something like that. But we don't go through. You didn't say it like I say it, right? Creator or God, this one or that one. We don't care. That's my girl. I love her. So being talk to that, the giving women the space to be authentic to themselves.
It's very, very important to be autistic. And yes, we are totally different, but we love each other and we support each other. I mean, all of us. I'm in this wonderful group of women, and everybody has, a different thing to give and needs different. And so we can support us. It's like I always say it's like a crack in the wall, because once you start, it gets bigger and bigger. And yes, and like me, I'm German, but I live in the Dominican Republic. I am still German and I have adjusted. I mean, I'm also Dominican now, but I am still, the crazy woman living in the DR. I'm not like, an island girl like mañana. So, and anyways, I mean, even though I think you kind of adapt to the people that you talk to, and the best is if you can get into their, feelings, but you have to be yourself. If I'm not a speaker, I'm always saying that, but you make me speak, so I try to be still me. I'm me. So that is very important, because otherwise people will not believe you, and you come over like like something that you are not.
It
Yes.
shows up. It really
Mhm.
does show up. You're funny. You are a speaker right now, sweetie. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. But you say stuff so that's so important is that. Like for me, they look at me and they think I'm Dominican, but I'm not. And I tell them I'm a black woman, honey. And the two-step, I'm done with. 3 years of do 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 do. I'm done. Black women dance freestyle. But you're so right. It's true. We gotta allow each other space to embrace. I love chicken tikka masala. I love sushi. I love cooked sushi, tempura. I love raw sushi. So I love sushi. I love eating with my hands like the Ethiopians with peanut butter in my food. I love the rice and beans. I love it. I love seeing other people just shine. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love them. And so it breaks my heart. I know. And if it breaks my heart when I see sisters, women not treating each other right, it hurts. It hurts deeply. And if I know it hurts me and I'm like my daddy, it's hurting our Heavenly Father to see us wreck one another, to be so judgmental and harsh in our words. You can respond to something that you don't agree with without going in on them. And be careful because what did it say? The one finger that's pointing, there's four fingers pointing back at yourself. Just be careful.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so I'm going to go over Tiffany. We talk about, physical fitness. We talk about getting ourselves in shape. Um, you know, um, we have to be careful in how we, like treat people, right? Especially women. We're talking about women with low self-esteem,
Yeah.
or because when you begin to think about things like that, um, some of the things that we may say we don't realize is that very thing that pushes them over the edge. I can remember going grocery shopping when my daughters were little, or even going to the craft store to buy crafts, and I would end up talking to an individual, most of the time it's women, and my kids would be like, "Mom," and because I'm talking, right? Um, but I would take my time with them, especially when they seemed like they were a little discouraged, to encourage them, because you don't know what someone's getting ready to do when they leave your presence. And not that we are here to save, people, but you just never know how a hug can encourage, a smile can encourage, a thank you can build up, a small tip, even if it's just a little something. You just never know when that little bit of something that you give could be a huge something to someone else. Talk about your weight loss experience and how you got to where you are right now.
Sure, absolutely. I'll tell you, it was a hard transition, because when you choose to change and start bettering yourself, a lot of times the people that are around you aren't ready to change, and when they see people were coming to me, are you sick? Oh my gosh, what's going on with you? I'm like, I'm not sick if I don't drop this weight. And I'm not just talking about the physical weight. I'm talking about all this stress and all this toxic weight that is in my life is gonna kill me. So I gotta make some adjustments, and I started making small adjustments with having to get rid of some of the people that were in my life
Hmm.
and adding people that were very supportive. As I shared my story, there were a lot of people that were fascinated, like, how the heck did you lose almost 120 pounds? What? Because not a lot of people can do that, nor can they keep it off for over a decade. But I am very, y'all know, I mean, those that know me know I'm all about the energy and all about how things make me feel. So when I'm about how I feel, I'm about how other people feel as well. When I was in human resources, if someone would come slouching in the door and they're walking down the hall and they're just, like Eeyore, I would stop them. Come here for a minute. What's going on? What happened? And half the time, that one question would be everything for them because
Mhm.
they just needed 5 minutes just to vent. So they didn't start their work and go and fight with their employee, or, their employees or their coworkers, or go after work and, go and hit the bottle or do something worse. Someone actually cared. And that's what it's all about is, during my journey, I had to share because I cared. And it just grew a community around me that has been my support system. It has been my foundation because it was like it weeded out, God weeded out the toxic and everything and opened up the doors for all of those authentic, real people like yourself to come into my life that could really help me to get to that next level. I would not have been able to be the person I am today without opening up myself to those new relationships, to actually opening up the communication and saying, hey, what's going on? And talking to new people. We don't, we tend to, as women, a lot of times we tend to have our little circle, our little clique,
Yep.
and we don't need the clique. We don't need to be clicky. We need to just be open to what God, source, energy, whatever you want to call it, you got to be open to what He has in store for you. So I have been able to really just find success in just continuing to share my story and be open about it and say, you know what? Yes, I did get to, that weight. I did have that toxic relationship. I did allow that person to do those things to me. Yes, I did. But guess what? It's not going to happen again.
Right.
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 Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
It's
it's
very.
been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. I mean, being able to now have a group of women, we have the Girl Powerhouse Network, and having walked through this journey, when I see some of my sisters struggling with some of the same stuff, hey, sis, you know what? My blood sugar is high. I got something for you. But you want to check with your doctor though first. I'm gonna tell you some things, but check with your doctor first. But I went through this journey so I could be that key person in their life to be able to share something that could possibly get them to the other side.
Yeah, and that's so important too. The willingness to share what you've learned.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we have to do in our world of women. We've got to learn how to share.
Hmm.
You're to whom much is given, much is required. So you got there so that you can help others, so that you can
Right.
reach back and help others. I just wanted to say to um, Emilio Roman. Thank you for joining us, and I do love I know how to cook some Spanish food. That's one thing is for sure. Tiffany, you tapped back into it again about those relationships and why it's so important for us to cultivate those relationships. You talked about the rejection of your community when you first started to lose the weight. The minute you start getting on a goal, it's everyone's right there to influence you. I do a presentation called "Who's in Your Boardroom," and it's who's allowing you, or are you allowing? This is your boardroom. Who are you allowing in your head to advise you? And are you assessing, addressing, and moving forward, or rejecting that advice? Right?
Right.
Do you have any kind of filter, because it will cause you to self sabotage, listening to other people.
Hmm.
And you'll forfeit your own dreams, you'll forfeit your own joy, you'll forfeit your own fulfillment, feel and feel. And so, same experience with you. I remember this woman saying, Miss Disappear. And I took it very offensively because I said, what? And it had to be a reason I took it offensively, because I don't normally take things to offense. But this same woman who's talking about me disappearing, a following year later, I see her and she was disappearing. So I influenced her to lose her weight.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that. We influence without intent. We influence without anyone ever telling us how great we are and how wonderful we are and how they're listening and gleaning from us. They secretly take, right, because of pride, ego, embarrassment. In some cases, they see. That's why we have to live a life that's to our own high standard, so that when we show up in life, we show up as a positive influence. I'm going to shift the conversation and I'm going to
Hey,
shift.
Marissa, do you
Yes,
mind if I chime in on something real quick?
go
I'm
right
sorry. I want to piggyback on both you and Tiff, TNT. The most primary relationship that any of us can ever have is within ourselves. And that's the key goal for any of this, to even be able to have a relationship with other people in any way, shape, form, or fashion, is what are we saying to ourselves? How are we treating ourselves? And then in turn, how are we allowing ourselves to be treated by others? So building that relationship within yourself sends you on a more uh, important journey for any of us to be able to do. And so building that relationship with yourself, learning to trust yourself, that's something I had to learn to do after I had went through all the losses that I had, and I felt like I was out here completely and totally alone, and that everybody that I knew and loved and that was close to me had transitioned. And someone told me one time, it said, Terry, you're going to have to learn to trust yourself. And once I began learning to do that again and rebuilding that, that increases your resilience. And once you do those types of things, you're going to be more powerful to help those around you. So I just wanted to piggyback on that. But one other thing that I've been thinking about as this has been going on is a word I wrote about and one I really, really love, and that is namaste. I don't see people for who they are, their color, or their gender, or their identity, or any of those types of things. But namaste means the divine in me recognizes the divine in you in a place we meet as one. And
Yes.
so by doing these types of things, we're building trust within ourselves. We're
Mhm.
looking past the physical aspects and we're getting to know people for the truth of who they are. And when we get to know that about ourselves, then we can grow and help others to do the same.
yes, and that's at the core heartbeat
So
of self awareness leads to self should. If you love yourself, if you want to improve, it should lead to self development.
Yeah.
Self development, when commitment is there, when consistency is there, leads to self mastery. And
Mhm.
self mastery is not about being perfect, but it's about learning how you specifically can navigate through this world and this life successfully. So, own it, core foundation and core principles of self awareness, self development, and self mastery. And so you nailed that, Terry. Love it, love it, love it. And you're so right. It has to start from within.
Mhm.
And once you settle within, and that's where core values, we talk about the spillover effect with terminology that we look at in jobs, terminology that we listen to when we listen to leaders, core values, the SWOT analysis, SMART goals. All of those things should be spilling over into our lives. We should not be in the presence of these concepts, and there's not an aha moment where it says, "Whoa, wait a minute, I need to be using that for myself." The SWOT analysis. What are my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? And how is my attitude towards those? Am I seeing them from a positive perspective? Am I seeing them from the cup half full or half empty? Because half full means I can do this. There's possibility. Half empty means that I may not have enough. That's doubt and unbelief. And so you got to start doing that. You have to become conscious and cognizant of who you are, how you work. That
Mhm.
means that you got to do that thing that most people don't want to do. You got to be by yourself.
Ooh,
Oops. There
start
it is.
introspection, taking stock.
Yeah.
Woo, you gotta be by yourself and fall in love with yourself. And when you fall in love with yourself, you know, I didn't realize I like everything pretty and right where it belongs. I want to be able to use things. I don't want to be stuffing nothing nowhere. It needs to be laid down properly.
Mhm.
Those are the things you find out about yourself because they're undercurrents as to why you're showing up with the
Mhm.
energy that you're showing up with. If your house is a mess and you're mad, Clean it up. It'll do wonders for how your attitude and energy. We take that for granted. I have to shower, get dressed, have my coffee, listen to a little bit of news, not a lot, just enough to feel informed. I have to do that. I need to do that for me so that by the time I see you, I'm happy. Because what? I've done all the things that I wanted to do and needed to do so that I feel good, that I feel complete. And then when I'm full, then I'm giving to you out of a reservoir, not out of an empty tank. And we know with an empty tank, there ain't nothing but soot at the bottom, right? Nothing but trash at the bottom. So I'm shifting gears. We're going over to legacy, and then we're gonna close this out because let me tell you something, ladies. We go an hour and a half. Who's been on here with me? We're not. We're not doing that tonight. We're gonna try to be mindful of folks' time, and we're gonna be doing this all year long. So we look tranquila. We get chill. Todo bien. All good. So I want to start legacy with Dr. Ash because women in our daughters. I remember when my kids were teens, and my spirit would cringe when I heard women talk about their daughters in such a negative way. My daughter got on my nerve and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I have daughters and I had teen daughters. My kids are, believe it or not, I got, what's the age? They're 38. I'm getting to that point where I'm like, I'm losing it. You talk, Dr. Ash, about having a teen granddaughter. I do too. She's 14. She'll be 15 this end of this year. My daughters are 38 and 33. I got to keep up with these numbers. 38 and 33. As much, there weren't a lot of challenges, but no matter how challenged it did come, when my kids were teens, I don't ever remember ever desiring or fixing myself to say some of the things that I hear. You did a book with your daughter and love it because you gave her a voice. You saw her. Talk to our audience today. Why is it important that we love our daughters, that we give them a safe space to be honest and authentic with us so that they're not going out here and making poor decisions. Share, I'm not going to say my thoughts because I just
Okay.
feel,
Okay.
go ahead.
It's important. It's very, very important. My grandfather told me something a long time ago. He said, "Go look in the mirror and to thine own self be true." If you can be true to yourself, then you can be true to others and how you act and interact with others. Um, when I think about my daughter, I have a son and a daughter, but when I think about my daughter, she was my firstborn. And there were challenges when I would talk to her before she got ill about why she was doing things. And she would tell me why she was doing things because she felt really okay to tell me and that I wouldn't be too shocked. Well, I'm a nurse, so I got shocked by some of the stuff she told me. But when she explained to me and I listened, then we become better parents, not necessarily friends. I was always a parent, she was always a daughter. I wasn't trying to be her girlfriend. I was a parent, always a parent. Because I had learned stuff in my life that I didn't want her to repeat, and I would tell her that, well, okay, you want to do this, but this is what happened to me when I did that. So you make a choice of what you're going to do, and hopefully you want to end up in the same place that I did. Then you have to come back to me and say, "Okay, mommy, you were right." And she would laugh at that. Um, I would also speak to daughters, not just blood daughters, but other daughters. Um, as a nurse, I saw the ills and things with people in their life struggle. And I have other daughters that are not blood daughters, but they're my daughters because they became my my the people that I wanted to succeed and excel and be the best that they could be in their own lives, no matter what was going on in their own lives. So with my daughter and getting her through her trials and tribulations and things like that, but then helping other daughters, I have come to the point now where my other daughters, since my blood daughter has died, my other daughters have stepped up and they're in my life just as much as the other daughters were, as my daughters was. She, the mentorship, you always learn something from other people. And I've learned things from kids. I remember sitting with my granddaughter and watching cartoons. Granted, they're different than they were when I was daughter, but when my daughter was coming along and my son, and I was listening to cartoons with them, but the were so different, but there were messages in their cartoons. So I would sit with them, learn what messages they were getting, and then we talk about it afterward. Because some of them, I was wondering, why were you all yelling all the time? Dora yelled all the time. She didn't talk low. She yelled the whole time. I said, "Oh, that's where that's coming from. They're yelling. Why are they yelling? Because they're not being heard." So,
Right.
you know, it's that kind of thing that helps you to understand how they're thinking and what they're doing. Now with this virtual reality thing that I totally do not understand, but my granddaughter goes to Europe, she goes to Egypt, and she has friends that go with her to these places. And they go there virtually and talk about their experiences while they were there. For me, I love to travel. I prefer to go there in person. She, with her friends, they go there virtually and they have some very rewarding experience. But when she tells me about it, she's very, very excited and she's happy about it. And the fact that I'm listening to her explaining her totally different world from my world, from what my daughter grew up in, her world is exciting to her that she can share that, and I'm just not pushing her off to the side because she has a different perspective about life and about friends. The friends don't necessarily have to be next door. She doesn't necessarily have to go outside. She has the whole world that she can go to. And understanding that has been very, very important to me. With my daughter, she developed kidney disease at an early age, and it was very hard for her at 17. It was hard for me too, but I taught her how to take control of her own life. When anybody came into her room, she got their name and what they were doing. She learned her medications. She learned not to just accept what the doctor or the nurse said or the healthcare professional said. Look it up for herself. Before she had to go to a procedure, she would go to Google or YouTube and look it up. I didn't know you could do that. But she told me you could actually do that and look up your procedure ahead of time. So she was mentally prepared for her procedures. Um, Learning from her, and now I'm reading her diaries now. I'm learning even more so about her and her life and how she expressed herself and how she learned a lot. But through all of her diaries, she puts in there, I'm so glad I had a mommy like my mommy because she listens to me. And I will say to everybody, listen to the children. Listen to them. They really have some insights into things that I could never, ever, ever imagine. And when you listen to them, you understand what they're trying to do, what they're trying to say, and they appreciate you more and will come back to you when things get a little complicated and they really don't understand because they know you an old lady. I'm 76, and you might have had that experience back in your life. And what did you do about it at that time? So they can make choices about what they're going to do about it and have you backing them up, supporting them in ways that they may not get from their parents who might not just understand it. But I think if everybody listens a lot more, people talk too much. I really do. I think that. That's why when I go to the beach and it's peace and quiet, I'm not talking. Talking helps, at a point, but sometimes you have to do that introspection, that interest into yourself, and just feel your heart, your essence, your brain, and just be a part of where you are at that time.
Yeah, you nailed it, and you lose out on the treasures of the relationship when it's one sided. When you don't allow yourself to be open to learning from the young people. We don't. And so I'm glad that you said all that you said, because, and I love the fact that you said that you have the characteristics of a friendship, but you still have the authority of being the parent. And so that
Right.
was important to me, because when people would say, "Oh, I'm not my child's friend," and I'm like, well, you have to make sure that you're relatable. Because if you're not relatable, there's a disconnect. And when you have a disconnect, then you have them getting disinformation. Right? You don't have the influence anymore because you disconnected from them. And that was so important for me as a mom and a mother of daughters, is to make sure that I always had some kind of connection with my daughters, that left a safe space for them to say whatever was on their mind. Even when it was difficult to hear, I had to listen. And so I really, even from our past interviews, Dr. Ash, I just remember that about you and your daughter, that how close you were. And just hearing you is so refreshing. I don't know about the other ladies, but just to really hear you authentically express what your relationship with your daughter was like, and what your relationship with even your daughters. And then also too, sacrificing. You are making yourself available to other girls, or young women, or women at this point, who really need that influence. And that's what's so important too about this Women Celebrating Women, is because we have to understand the importance of mentorship, right? Coaching without being formal, and
Yes.
coaching,
Yes.
making ourselves
Yes.
available to younger women, even our peer women, to make sure that they're okay. That we talk about fixing her crown, but let's not talk about that. Let's be about it. Really fixing one another's
Right.
crown, and it not just being a cliche. We are at the 45-minute mark, and as much as we have not tapped into much of any of this, because we need a full, like, okay, that's all right, because we doing retreat. So just a shout out to the audience, that if you want to come here and tranquila with us, we are doing retreats. Just reach out to us, and let us know if you're interested in doing that. We'd be more than happy to host you, between myself, Tiffany, and Sabine. We are definitely doing that. That was just a sidebar, not a real pitch. I just wanted to, it's not, I just wanted to give everyone just a couple of minutes, just to share what's on your heart. I want to just close out, just have some closing thoughts, what we've all listened to. And like I said, we don't have to be anxious for any of this, because we're going to continue these conversations, and continue to move on. Mary Lee, your girl, Eileen is shouting out from South Carolina. Um, uh,
Yay.
and Elaine says to you, Dr. Ash, she gives you her condolences on the loss of your daughter. Um, so that was really, really good. We're gonna start where we started at the beginning. Mary, I know you probably have a lot to share, but share your closing thoughts. We'll go Mary, we'll go Terry, we'll go Sabine, we'll go Tiffany, and Dr. Ash will let you close us out.
Thank you. I would like to say thank you once again for this opportunity. I really enjoyed this interview on tonight with all the fabulous ladies on the call tonight. And most of all, Francis, when I was listening to your story about your daughter, I lost my little girl,
Mm.
2008. And as I was listening to your story, how you said how close you were with your daughter, my eyes started tearing up, because I wanted that same relationship with my little angel, Rihanna Elizabeth Smith. But unfortunately, I lost her as an infant and didn't get a lot of time with her. But I can imagine being that same mother that you just described that you were to your daughter. And God knows that I only wanted one child, but I don't fault God for anything because God did give me my little girl. Unfortunately, I didn't have a long time with her, but I still thank God for that opportunity to be able to hold her. But just listen to you talk about your daughter, how close you were. It did my heart all the good. And I'm over here tearing up now because I can only imagine how close you and your daughter was. And that was my dream with my little girl. But once again, I enjoyed every last one of you guys on today. I learned so much from each and every one of you. I am glad to be on this interview on tonight. I think God is doing something for me and in my life because I am so surrounded with women now. I am that girl that normally stays to myself and just hang out with my husband. But here lately, for some strange reason, God has had me among a bunch of women lately. I just finished a leadership class at USC in Columbia with the Chamber of Commerce through my job, where my supervisor left of fate put me in it, and it was 10 women. And here I am tonight with five women on the call tonight. And I'm saying, God, what are you trying to do? And God said, I'm putting you in the place where you need to be among strong women so you can continue growing in your leadership with the right women in place. So thank you so much once again for this opportunity. I truly enjoyed this interview on tonight.
Oh, awesome, 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 Terry.
I'm just so grateful to be here and, just keeping that attitude of gratitude, getting to know more people, getting to connect and listen to other people and their stories and to actively listen, to take the time to get to know ourselves because, as much as we are diverse, they have a lot of things that are truly in common. And again, we can teach, learn, share, and grow from everyone. But making sure that we keep ourselves in that attitude of gratitude is one of the most imperative things I think that any of us could ever do. It is one of the highest emotions that we can achieve, second to that of unconditional love. And saying to ourselves, what are we grateful for, even if they are the smallest of things. But listening to your stories this evening, I am so very grateful. I've learned so much, and taking that time to get to know one another, to meet one another, to actively listen and communicate with one another, and to trust within ourselves that you have everything you need within you right now. Just believe in you. And that is the first step to taking a good step forward in your life.
Awesome, 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 awesome.
This is so true. And really we have to be grateful for what we have. And I am super thankful that I was able to join this powerful network of women like 3 years ago. And it has been a learning journey, learning about myself. Like people see things in me that I have not seen. So I'm learning about myself and what else I am capable and what I just didn't realize, and also learning about other people, how to really, what do other people need from us, how can we lift them up, like you said before. It could be a hug, it could be a smile, it could be just a how are you today. It is so important to reflect and just look around and be thankful for the little things. Like I am thankful for where I am, enjoying this island and the beach and everything and the people around me. And yeah, and I hope we will spend a lot more time together and we can lift each other up. It's so important.
Yeah, on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Yay!
Yeah,
I'm coming, y'all. I'm coming. All right.
I am too.
We're here for you.
You got to ask me twice.
No, seriously, that attitude of gratitude. I really got to piggyback off of you, though, Tara. TNT for sure, because that attitude of gratitude and just being grateful for your own, specific journey, and just being able to be a light, for someone, is just so amazing. Take time to get to know people, take time to connect, and your inner being, your inner self is going to tell you who you should and should not connect with.
That's
You
right.
just
Mhm.
need to listen, because if it's someone that they're going to gravitate to, I've been got gravitated to all of you. I mean, I don't know if you know, Mary and France, I don't know you too well just yet, but I mean, Sabine's building my house. Marisa helped me to, just become the coach and a magazine owner. I mean, Terry has just lit me up on fire and just been so much inspiration for me to just build and grow with, having a TV show. I'm doing things that I never ever imagined in my life. Okay, I thought I was gonna be in a little box, being a little HR, and I'm not gonna say little because I'm not gonna discount it, being an HR professional for many, many years in corporate. But no, there's so much more out there. So just be open to the possibilities because they are endless. Okay,
Yes.
just keep yourself open and just keep listening and just keep being grateful for just life because it's an amazing journey regardless of the ups, downs, all the in betweens, everything. It's a roller coaster. Let's throw up our hands and go wee.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. It is such a pleasure. My daughter lives through me.
Yes.
In everything that I do. I used to think it was me, but no, it's her living through me to reach out to people, to share her story, to share my story, and to interact with you guys. Every time I'm on the interviews, I learn even more of things that I need to take inside for myself, things I need to do. And this has been truly a wonderful blessing to be here with you. And you girlfriend down there in South Carolina, we need to connect because we're not that far away.
Yes.
And I'm coming back to the DR, not on a cruise, but for a stay, okay? I just need to arrange it. Help me out,
Yes.
sisters. I think we all need to be there and sit around the ocean and hold hands and kumbaya or something like, with a little drink or something else. But anyway. This is so invigorating for me in my ability in my ability to keep myself strong. I have those low periods, but this helps me when I have those low periods and I go back to, oh, but I was on this interview thing and she said such and such, she said such and such. So y'all, as we're taking this back, everybody is listening, take that too, because all of the information that's been shared in today will only do one thing, and that's help you be a better you.
Yes, yes, yes. Beautifully said. Love you guys all. This is Own It, Women Celebrating Women. All of these women have been honored as women who operate in authority, authenticity, influence, and legacy. And you heard it for yourself. So we love you so very much. Till next time, we'll be right back at it. Take care and be blessed. We're out.
Be blessed.